이니미니 많이 멈춰 만남부터 부끄러 왜 빨리 넌 집으로 발걸음을 이끌어 천천히 걸어 미끄러 첫 만나면 어떻게 널 믿어.
So, what's up my peeps? MatrixNative here. Today's build, operators on your feet. We're gonna get on down to South Korea and take a look at a little unit down there called the Second ID. Today, we will have no comments because the history lesson is a little bit intensive today, but rightfully so. You got Kwang Dong dickhead over there flying missiles around the freaking skies. This build was never requested, but you know what? That is going to be corrected today. Enjoy, my peeps. The 2nd Infantry Division, also known as Indian Head, 2ID, 2nd ID, 2nd D, or Deuce D, is a formation of the United States Army. Its current primary mission is the defense of South Korea in the initial stages of an invasion from North Korea until other American units can arrive, basically back up, yeah? And with that being said, also, I need to give big hooah shouts out to my boys, the Manchus. Let's go, man. Chew on this. Let's go. I mean, we had a ball, I would say sort of the late 80s. We had a freaking hooah time, and I'm telling you, I got so fucked up on soju with my Manchus, and it was just a great time. So big shouts out to the Manchus down there at Liberty Bridge, man. We appreciate you. I fucking appreciate you. If no one else in this world appreciates you, man, no, I appreciate you. Let's go. So basically, there are approximately 17,000 soldiers in the 2nd Infantry Division, with 10,000 of them stationed in South Korea, accounting for about 35% of the United States Forces Korea personnel. The 2nd ID Division is unique in that it is the only U.S. Army division that is made up partially of South Korean soldiers, called basically KATUSA, Katsu Korean Augmentation to the U.S. Army. But to be honest, during my brief time there, we just called them the Rocks, Rock Soldiers, Rock Marines, and of course, the Rocks also have their own SOF division. This program began in 1950 by agreement with the first South Korean president, I know I'm going to butcher this, Simon Rai. Simon Rai! Anyway, you can Google if you want who the first South Korean president was, because I know I fucking butchered it. Let's go. The 2nd Division was first constituted on 21 September 1917 in the regular army. It was organized on 26 October 1917 in France. At the time of its activation, the Indian Head Division was composed of the 3rd Infantry Brigade, which included the 9th Infantry Regiment, the 23rd Infantry Regiment, and the 5th Machine Gun Battalion, the 4th Marine Brigade, yes, Marines were a part of the 2nd ID at one point, which consisted of the 5th Marine Regiment, the 6th Marine Regiment, and the 6th Machine Gun Battalion, 2nd Brigade of Field Artillery, and various supporting units. Twice during World War I, the division was commanded by U.S. Marine Corps General Brigadier General Charles A. Doyen and Major General John A. Lejeune. And if you don't know about him, think about Camp Lejeune. Let's go. The only time in U.S. military history when Marine Corps officers commanded an Army division, and that alone is almost worth this history lesson. Upon returning to the United States, the division was stationed at Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio, Texas, as one of the 3 divisions to remain inactive and on active duty for the entire interwar period. It remained there the next 23 years, serving as an experimental unit, testing new concepts and innovations for the Army. The division was transferred to Louisiana Maneuver Area on 27 July 1941, being redesignated as the 2nd Infantry Division. After training in Northern Ireland and Wales from October 1943 to June 1944, the 2nd Infantry Division crossed the channel to land on Omaha Beach on D+1. So basically that would be 1 day after D-Day. So that would have made it 7 June 1944. And my peeps, here's another factoid for you, because just because you're actually listening to this history lesson, my son was born on 6 June. Let's go. How would you put that? D-Day anniversary. However, he wants really nothing to do with the military, but he actually is going to be a firefighter. So, who are you, little Matrix? 2nd Infantry Division returned to the New York port of embarkation on 20 July 1945 and arrived at Camp Swift in Texas on 22 July 1945. They started a training schedule to prepare them to participate in the scheduled invasion of Japan, but they were still at Camp Swift on VJ Day. Then they moved to the staging area at Camp Stallman in Pittsburgh, California on 28 March 1946, but the move eastward was canceled and they received orders to move to Fort Lewis at Tacoma, Washington. They arrived at Fort Lewis on 15 April 1946, which became their home station. From their Fort Lewis base, they conducted Arctic air transport, amphibious, and maneuver training. With the outbreak of hostilities in Korea during the summer of 1950, the 2nd Infantry Division was quickly alerted for movement to the Far East Command. The division arrived in Korea via Busan, and 23 July became the first unit to reach Korea directly from the United States. After the armistice, the division remained in Korea until 1954, when it was reduced to near zero strength. The colors were transferred to Fort Lewis, Washington, and in October 1954, the 44th Infantry Division was reflagged as the 2nd. However, in September of 1956, the division deployed to Alaska with the division headquarters at Fort Richardson as part of an Operation Gyroscope deployment. And that was basically where the soldiers of the 2nd basically went to Fort Richardson, and basically they swapped places with the 71st Infantry Division. There was no equipment. It was just the soldiers and their family. And basically they just swapped out places with the 71st Infantry Division, took the 71st equipment and all that, and then basically the 71st Infantry Division was reflagged as the 4th Infantry Division upon its arrival at Fort Lewis. On 8 November 1957, it was announced that the division was to be inactivated. However, in the spring of 1958, it was announced that the division would be reorganizing and returning to Fort Benning. Division elements were reorganized into 2 infantry battle groups. As a result of the formation of the 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile at Fort Benning in 1965, the 2nd ID Stateside Unit, along with the 11th Air Assault Division personnel and equipment, were merged to form a new division. The existing 1st Cavalry Division, let's go. Oh yeah, if you ain't Cav, you ain't shit. So as I was stating, the 1st Cavalry Division in Korea took on the title of the 2nd Infantry Division. Thus, the division formally returned to Korea in July 1965. From 1966 onwards, North Koreans were forcing and were engaging an increasing amount on the border of the DMZ between North and South Korea, and the 2nd Division was called upon to help these attacks out, which brings up an interesting point. People don't even think about the DMZ in Korea in the 60s. Everyone just thinks of Vietnam. But you heard it here, my peeps. If you didn't know, now you know something new. I actually already knew this. However, that is kind of crazy when you think about it, that there was actually action on the DMZ while we were involved in Vietnam. The 2nd Division is still headquartered in Korea with a number of camps near the DMZ. Command headquarters are at Camp Red Cloud. So, in closing, I did forget to mention something. The 2nd ID is actually a BCT, which is a Brigade Combat Team. And basically, a Brigade Combat Team consists of 1 Combat Arms Branch Maneuver Brigade, and it's assigned support and fire units. Now, I'm not sure if it's still this way today, but back when I was in, and if you say been in the military and gotten out in the last decade and you were, got marching orders to Korea, let me know if it's still a hardship tour. And for those that don't know what a hardship tour is, basically you get marching orders for the 2nd ID. You're only going over there for 1 year, because let's not forget that the 2nd ID in South Korea is actually garrisoned at Fort Lewis, Washington. A lot of people think they're garrisoned actually in South Korea, and which is not true. They're actually garrisoned in Fort Lewis, Washington. It's a 1-year deployment. You can get extended or you can ask for extension. I know that I met a ton. I'm talking about a ton of troops in the military that went to Korea, visited Mama-san, first time out of the house, and ended up, falling in love, decided to extend, get, their slice back home. So, I mean, nothing against that, but basically that is what is meant by a brigade combat team. It's usually a hardship tour, and basically they just cycle troopers in and out of there. They also, which I was a part of 2 times, and I don't know if they still have this, but there's also maneuvers, kind of like Reforger in Germany, but in Korea it's called Team Spirit. And I've actually been on Team Spirit deployments twice, and yeah, it was a fucking great time. Again, big shouts out to the Manchus and the Rocks if you guys are listening out there. And also do me a favor in the comments and let me know if you enjoyed this history lesson, or I guess if you don't comment, you went straight to the build. I love doing them. I really love doing them. And I plan on keeping the history with the build, but I'm just curious if most people just go straight to the builds. Anyways, let's review. So basically the second ID was founded in 1917. That's right, a decade ago. They're 100 years old, and let me tell you, I can't believe that I haven't done the second ID. But, with old fucktard over there launching fucking missiles everywhere, I thought definitely we needed to get this build in. It's never been requested. The rocks have been requested, which I am planning on doing. I don't know if I'll include the history, but I will definitely do Rock Marine, Rock Troop, Rock SOF. We're definitely going to get that going. So let's get back on topic again. Second ID, as stated, founded 1917, a decade ago. Country, obviously United States. Branch, United States Army. They're basically a striker infantry force. Their role, command and control organization containing 2 to 4 maneuverable brigade divisions. Part of the 8th United States Army, garrison and headquartered, actually garrisoned at Fort Lewis, Washington, and headquartered in South Korea. Nicknames, we've gone over a couple. Indian Head, Second ID, Deuce ID, 2 ID. Mottos, second to none. I'm loving that. And as stated, they go all the way back to World War I. They've actually been in Afghanistan, Iraq. Different elements of the second ID have definitely fought in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. And as stated, if anyone deserves a build, second ID, who are you, brothers? Let's get the fuck down range. Check. Okay, my peeps, you've been around here long enough to know. Let's go. Select our back button for old school, and then we go into Loadout, double tap the Y. This is going to be quick. I know the history lesson got on today, but there's a lot of history, behind the second ID. So let's go. Head. Today, no facial hair as usual. This unit doesn't play that, obviously. So, unless you got a facial profile, yeah, you better step out clean shaven. Let's go. Hair, going with the Warhawk as usual. Hair color brown. Facial detail burn on the left side. Oh, let's go. Body details, facial paint. We're going with the big red one. I think it blends in a little better than the Screaming Eagles for Korea. So that's what we're going with, the big red one. Right arm tattoo, Santa Maria, as usual, Dabien. Left arm, we'll go ahead and go with the battlefield cross. Doesn't matter, because you can't see it anyway. Ooh, look, little, catch that? Right of the screen, look at the right of the screen. Let's go. Close, that's right, that's that SR-25. Tops, we're going with the Cry Combat, why wouldn't we be? And we'll be putting that in the 1234. Again, why wouldn't we be? Multicam. Vest, we're going to go ahead. We're not really going to need a plate carrier, so we're going to go ahead and put the VTech LBE Tactical Vest, load carrying equipment. I have mine in Coyote Brown to stay with the build. Go ahead and put it in the multicam. I like them both. However, Coyote Brown, I like a little more. Again, if you know me, camos, shadows. Let's go. So put that 934 Coyote Brown. Pants Cry Combat 1234, the multicam. I must say, I bought probably 8-9 pairs of these. I've had plenty of pairs given to me. I really like these a lot better than the trousers we used to wear. So they're extremely comfortable. They're extremely cool. You got a lot of bend in the knees. That's what she said. So yeah, so like I said, man, I'm really digging the Cry Combat, and yeah, we'll be putting it in the 1234, and luckily we can equip it here. Footwear, hiking boots in the black, ghillie suit, obviously none. Accessories, oh wee wee. Eyewear, today we'll be going with the Oakley SI ballistic frames. Why wouldn't we? You are authorized Oakley SI straight jacket if you would like. Always authorized for any kind of goggles. Now, just don't fall into formation looking like a ragamuffin. So I'm going with the Oakley SI ballistic M-frame. Going to be putting those in the #1 matte black and gray. However, you can put them in anything you want. Basewear, today we're going with none. Again, one of my favorite things about the Cry Combat shirt is that the neckline, there is none of your skin exposed like in the fleece. I think that UB really sort of dropped the ball on that. So let's go though. I'm not hating really. This is it's a pretty good game. So, okay, headwear, brain bucket. Today we'll be equipping the carbon cut helmet, and we will be putting that in the 1233. Yeah, looking serviceable there. Headsets. Today we'll be rocking the headset C's. You'll be putting them in olive drab. And I'm not going to hate you though if you want to put it in the coyote brown or the sandstone. The sandstone is definitely too light, so scratch that, right? So if you want to put it in the coyote brown, I have no problem with that. However, we got to blend some vegetation into, you know, basically our fucking melon. So I would suggest go ahead and putting on the olive drab. It sort of kind of blends in with the multicam. I mean, the thing is, we gotta have some shadows up top, and I just feel like in Korea, if you went ahead and put on the coyote brown, not that it's a bad thing necessarily, right? To me, this is a little too dark, and to me, this is a little too light. So I don't, you know, so I'm really torn between the two. So yeah, go ahead, either 3.6 coyote brown or the olive drab. How did I just say that? That drab. Sorry, I'm delusional. Yeah, this weekend was hella busy for me, so wanted to get this out. Plus, let's remember that this is the third freaking time I'm trying it because of my freaking lovely high-speed computer. Fucking ugh. Anyway, handwear. Oakley Pilots. We're going with the 5.5 sandstone. And you know, that's funny because if you think about it, basically, when I get it on the first take, it's completely like, you know, I don't rehearse my build, so to speak. So then when I got to do it 2 times, you sort of lose that, you know, that unrehearsed. And then this is my 3rd time. So, you know, obviously it would be about the same commentary. However, you know, it's just you lose sort of that spontaneity, in my opinion. Okay, I'll quit talking that bullshit. All right, Alice Packs, let's go ahead. 511 Rush 72 for this build. Again, multicam. If you would like to stay true to the build, I'm not hating you. Let me put it this way. Any of your garb can go in coyote brown, including your helmet. It's just all about how you want to set it up. Because trust me, I've known a freaking troop or two to actually dye their LBE or whatnot, right? And it wouldn't be anything to do to take your LCE and get it like tricked out as long as your unit commander was cool with it and get it dyed or whatever. Because I mean, let's face it, fabric in Korea, that's where everybody goes to buy it. In the US, you know what I mean? And that's why they have, you know, the slave shops over there. But anyways, okay, so coyote brown, or you'll go ahead and put it in the multicam. I'm going to put it in the multicam. I might switch it up when we're in game and, you know, once we re-outfit. But, you know, the thing is, I like the straps being in the multicam. I wish the straps could be in the multicam, and then I wish the actual pack itself could be in the coyote brown. Now, to me, that'd be tits, right? I think so anyway. So, Either one you want to do it in, staying with the build, go ahead, hit the multicam, really staying with the build, either one. I'm going with the multicam because I like the frontal view. It sort of breaks up the coyote brown we have on our LCE. Let's go. I love that shoulder mic. I don't know why I like shoulder mic so much. I have a shoulder mic fetish. Okay, patches, obviously I'm hitting my last roll, my peeps, but I'm not hating you if you want to put your unit or country flag. I was very disappointed that they didn't have a chief on here, you know what I mean, like a native chief. That really surprised me, but really nothing surprised me anymore because, you know, everybody, this world is full of cupcakes, you know what I mean? They can't fucking stand a statue. Like, get the fuck on with your life, man. Jesus Christ, you got all this time to worry about statues. However, you know what I mean? Just get on with your fucking life. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. It's just everybody walks around, you know, getting all fucking butt hurt because, you know, people just tell it like it is. Like, fuck that shit, man. Anyways, that's for another video too. But I'm saying, you know what? Just quit being so freaking butt hurt about the littlest thing people say. Who gives a fuck? That's all I'm trying to say. So let's go. And that's going to be the fit today. I'm really liking it. I think it looks good. Again, you can go, you have 3 options, Coyote Brown on your Alice pack, your LCE, or your shell up there. So let's go. Let's get the weapons. Weapons, dirt nap givers. Let's go. Primary, of course, the M4A1. Why would it not be? Why would we go with something else? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because we wouldn't. Let's go. This is what they carry. Again, many countries carry this. So I must admit, a little prejudiced, but it just so happens that most of the builds that are requested and most of the builds I do, to stay true, you gotta equip the M4. It just tells you what a battle-tested weapon this is. But you've heard it all before from me. So let's get into paint presets. Now, we're gonna switch it up, and I've decided I'm gonna start giving like a couple of options. So if you play with me online, you know, you can check out my Twitch down below. But if you play with me online, you know, when we play together, tell you a fit, you know, I usually tweet it. Then everybody's hood up and we're ready to go. So I decided just to give, you know, everybody sort of some, you know, a couple of choices to go with. So you can come out in formation, and it's just not always the exact way. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and pick the dark earth. You can put it in the dark earth or the black. I actually like the black, but I wanted to show you what it looks like in the dark earth. We go into parts. Stock, buttstock, we'll put that in the black. Scope, we're going to go with the digital scope. Now, if you want to stay 100% true to the build, obviously, you know what you'd be putting on is the ACOG, right? I mean, but to me, in my opinion, this is a video game, and we have access to a lot. However, we don't want to come too far off. And I know that I used the panoramic sight for a long time, and I still do equip it a lot, especially if I know I'm going to be shit-kicking doors. But I'm not trying to shit-kick doors in this build. I am basically a scout. I'm basically an infantryman, part of a striker team. I'm a dismount trooper. So for this build, we're going to go ahead and equip the digital scope. We're going to put that in the 2.5 black. I've just really become just to love this scope, and I can't wait to shoot through one in real life. That's lined up in like 3 weeks. Hopefully I'll do a video on it, you know, just a little 30-second. Enough of that shit though. Let's go 2.5 black. Let's get on with it. Optional though, okay? Scopes are optional. Trigger, obviously full auto semi. Magazine, we're going to go ahead and cap her out with the 50, and we're going to put that in black. 50 rounds. That's just ungodly to me. Okay, under barrel. Of course, the 203. Now, this is another option for you. I don't mind if you put a grip on. Heard me fight that one off, huh? I don't mind if you put a grip on. However, I carried the 203. It was just a part of my weapon loadout. So, with that being said, it's always going to be a part of my weapon loadout. But not saying that you don't got to carry it. But if you wouldn't, like, if you decide not to carry it, I mean, obviously, if we're doing law enforcement builds and stuff, for now anyway, you know, you can't really equip this in the trunk, so to speak. However, you know, all I'm saying that is if you have a chance to equip a 203, why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you, as, you know, a basic grunt? You absolutely would. And we're going to go ahead and put that. We're going to differ it up because we usually silhouette this out, but we're going to go ahead and put that in the dark earth today. Rail cover, we're going to keep it clean, and we're going to be hitting the black. We're going to go with the standard barrel. No reason to equip the long barrel. It'll only slow us down on our sweep. So we'll go with the standard barrel, and we will be putting that in the 2.5 black, as well as our secondary is a DMR. Muzzle, you know me, you know my builds. Compensator Victor 2. Here's how I had a question. You know, do you ever carry suppressed on your rifles? Of course I do. Absolutely. If the mission dictates it. Now, if we're going in for a helo insertion, right, and we're going to prize down, obviously, you know, that means that we're going to be, like, doing extraction type work, you know, hostage extraction. I mean, of course, I'd be a fool not to equip a silencer in my gear. But, I mean, basically, we're a striker, as stated. We're part of a striker crew, a part of a dismount team. So the silencers, no. You won't find silencers. So let's go. And we're going to put that in the brown. Compensator Victor 2. Obviously, if you don't got it, open it up because we use it a shit ton. And there you go. Let Freedom Ring. M4, best rifle in the world. But I do like the SCAR as well. But that's the M4 though. Okay, secondary. Let's go. We haven't pulled this out of the safe in a while. We're going to go ahead and equip the SR25. Underrated. To me, underrated in this game. It's a very stable DMR. As fast as you can pull the trigger, it will shoot. It is not full auto, but I'm telling you, it does have superior, did I mention superior rounds per second coming out of that fucking barrel. So as soon as you pull the trigger, it's ready to fire again. That is why I think this is a really underrated DMR in this game. I don't know. You know, I mean, of course, you know, I'm going to always stick with my M14, but the United States forces definitely use this, and it's definitely used by other forces all around the world. It is definitely a mainstay, and it is definitely battle-tested and earned its stripe. Paint presets. Today, we're going to go ahead and equip it in the Dead Leaves. You can also equip it in the black if you wish, but I think this fits the build. I think it kind of fits the multicam theme we're going for, as well as the Korean DMZ let's go fuck North Korea up build today that we have. Let's go. So equip it in the Dead Leaves. We're going to go ahead and part it out. We're going to go with the stock bud stock, and we're going to equip it in the 2.5 blast. Scope, another switch today for the DMR. I'm going to go ahead and equip the TARS 101. I do like this scope as well as I like it in real life. It's sort of underused in this game, and I can understand why. However, we're going to go ahead, equip this bad boy, and you're going to put it in the Dark Earth 3.5. Trigger, of course, semi-auto only. Magazine extended. And we'll go ahead and equip that in the 3.5 Dark Earth as well. Under barrel, we're going to go with the vertical foregrip. The reason why, really there's no reason why except that I miss carrying the vertical foregrip, and it actually looks really, really tight on this weapon, and it fits the weapon. It fits mold of the weapon, if you will. You really don't lose a shit ton of handling. Obviously, you can carry any foregrip you want. I really don't care, but today I'm going with the vertical foregrip. I really, really miss carrying this on some of my weapon loadouts. So we'll go and put that in the 3.5 Dark Earth. Rail, we're going to keep it on the rangefinder, Dark Earth. Standard barrel, we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep it in the standard barrel, 2.5. Muzzle, haha, surprise, surprise, compensator Victor 2. Let's go. You're going to be putting that in the Dead Leaves. Again, mission dictates whether I'm going to carry a suppressor or not. Roger that. Because, you know, maybe I won't have enough room in my pack. I'm just saying. Mission always dictates what kind of equipment you're going to carry. And we'll be putting that in the 1.5 Dead Leaves. And there we go. To me, the most underrated DMR, at least in this game. But it is definitely battle-tested. Handguns, to date, we're going with the M9. And why wouldn't we be? It's the standard issue for the United States Army. So, paint presets, go ahead and put that in black. Parts, go ahead. Magazine 15, we'll put that in the gray. Rail, we're going to keep it clean. Put it in the gray with the rail cover, obviously. Standard barrel in the gray. Muzzle, check. Suppressor, okay, we're going to carry it with us. Cool. So, make sure it's in the black, but you're going to equip the stock muzzle in the black. And that is the standard issue of the United States Army. So everything else, obviously your drone is dependent on what your team would need. I carry and use the diversion lure and the frag grenades. Again, you know, you obviously can use any of these, but I keep it a rule that I can only use 2 of what's equipped. So frag grenades, obviously you got to have that, even if you didn't have the M203. And the diversion lure, if the flare really worked, I'd be carrying it. But the diversion lure you can actually see as a beacon, so that'll work. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed today's build. Oh, look, monsoon season. That's fitting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's build. Hope you have an amazing day tomorrow. I hope today was amazing. I hope yesterday was amazing. And you know what to do. And sub, go ahead and sub. It really helped the channel out. Go ahead and punch that like, my peeps. Operate 41. I'll catch you next video, because that's how we roll.
Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an account raised. Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight and pressure of success. It's like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereo.